All right, so you snagged tickets, huh, for Iron Maiden's Run for Your Lives tour.
Color me impressed. Not an easy feat, I'm sure.
Dude, tell me about it. This isn't just any tour, you know? This is like the B tour, celebrating 50 years. 50
A
years.
landmark achievement, no doubt. 5 decades of pure metal, and they're still going strong.
Stronger than ever, it seems like. And they're pulling out all the stops for this one. That much is clear.
Oh, absolutely. The announcement alone sent the metal world into a frenzy. And for good reason.
Yeah, they didn't hold back. Let's break it down, shall we? For starters, it all kicks off in Budapest.
Budapest, a fitting location to kick off a global domination.
May 27th, mark your calendars, people. But Budapest is just the tip of the iceberg.
The itinerary reads like a metalhead's dream vacation. They're crisscrossing Europe, hitting stadiums, festivals, arenas, you name it.
They're making sure no Maiden fan feels left out, that's for sure. And speaking of not holding back,
Yes. The set list.
career spanning, they're calling it. From their self-titled debut all the way to Fear of the Dark.
A testament to their longevity, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
5 decades, and they're still churning out classic after classic.
It's incredible, really. But here's the kicker. They're digging deep into the archives for this one. Deep cuts. They haven't played some of these songs in years.
Now that's what's got the diehards buzzing, myself included.
It's like they're opening a time capsule, a sonic time capsule filled with forgotten treasures.
For longtime fans, the chance to hear those rarely or never played songs live, it's like a pilgrimage,
And as if that wasn't enough, they're promising their most elaborate stage show yet.
which, knowing Maiden, is saying something.
Right. These guys have set the bar pretty high when it comes to their live shows.
Pyrotechnics, Eddie in all his glory,
Mm-hmm.
they've done it all. But for their 50th, with this kind of momentum, I think they're going to outdo themselves.
I can't even imagine what they've got up their sleeves. Okay, you ready for this? The detail that, for me, just screams, we're making this a night to remember.
Get me?
They're bringing not one, not two, but T3 opening acts.
Wow, okay. Who are we talking?
Hailstorm's on board for the first leg, then Avatar for the second, and
Don't leave me hanging.
the Raven Age is opening all the UK and Ireland dates.
Now that's a statement lineup.
Right. Talk about a full-on metal extravaganza. It's like a festival every night.
They're catering to every generation of Maiden fan with those choices.
Yeah.
You've got Hailstorm bringing that modern rock edge.
Yeah, great call.
It's that Avatar with their theatrical darkness.
Oh, they're visually amazing live. So good.
And the Raven Age. Well, that one's a nice personal touch, wouldn't you say?
Oh, how so? Fill me in.
Well, the Raven Age is fronted by George Harris.
No way! Steve Harris's son. That's amazing.
Talk about keeping it in the family.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant way to showcase a younger generation of metal while giving a nod to that legacy that runs so deep in Iron Maiden.
Absolutely. Speaking of legacy, did you notice which venue they chose for the London show? June 28th.
London Stadium, right? That's not just any venue, is it?
Bingo! We're talking West Ham's home turf, baby.
Oh, man. You know what that means for Steve Harris.
The man bleeds claret and blue, that's for sure. This isn't just a gig, it's a homecoming.
Imagine the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
To headline a venue like that, in your own city,
Yeah.
on a stage that holds so much significance for you, it's going to be electric.
Goosebumps just thinking about it. 60,000 screaming metalheads, Bruce belting out those iconic lyrics.
And Steve Harris living out a childhood dream. Unbelievable.
Chills, dude, chills. You know, it's one thing to hit a milestone like 50 years, but it's a whole other thing to actually celebrate it like this.
No, you're right. Plenty of bands just rest on their laurels, phone it in.
Exactly. But Iron Maiden, they're different, digging deep into their discography, bringing back those old school tracks.
It's a statement. It says we're still here, we're still kicking ass, and we're going to give the fans what they want.
They're not just acknowledging their own journey either. They're acknowledging that the fans have been right there with them for 5 decades.
And that's a bond you don't mess with, especially in the metal world. These aren't just songs, these are anthems.
Anthems that have soundtracked people's lives. Hearing those tracks live after all these years, especially the deep cuts, talk about emotional.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, ready for this? Remember those quotes we were talking about? Bruce Dickinson, their frontman, he pretty much summed it up.
Oh yeah, what'd he say?
It was something like, if you haven't seen Iron Maiden live yet,
What the hell have you been waiting for?
Bringo.
Yeah.
That's our Bruce. Straight to the point.
And their manager, Rod Smallwood, he was on the same page. Something about how they see every tour as a challenge.
But this one, This one's different. They're pulling out all the stops, he said.
And you believe him. It's not just excitement, though, is it? In those quotes, I mean.
What are you picking up on?
There's a fire there, like almost a dare. To the fans, maybe even to themselves, like you're saying.
Like they're saying, we're Iron Maiden, and we're still at the top of our game.
Yes. Okay, so you're the expert here. Big question. What does all this tell us about where Iron Maiden's at? Right now, I mean.
It tells me they're not content to just coast. They could easily tour on nostalgia alone, and no one would fault them.
Right. They've earned it.
But they're pushing themselves, creatively, I mean. Still evolving, but without abandoning their roots.
That's a tough balance to strike, especially after 50 years. Okay, last question before we dive into these tour dates. With all this talk about a career-spanning set list, deep cuts, anything you're really hoping makes the cut, personally, I mean.
Oh, man, you're putting me on the spot. There's so many to choose from, but
Yeah.
I gotta go with Murders in the Rue Morgue. Off the Killers album. Those riffs, Bruce's vocals.
Yeah.
Hearing that live on this tour, Epic doesn't even cover it.
Oh, now you're speaking my language. That's a deep cut and a half. Okay, before we move on, got to circle back to that London Stadium show. We talked about it being a homecoming for Steve, but this is even bigger than that, right? I mean, come on, this is where football and heavy metal collide.
Right. The energy in that place is going to be off the charts. For Steve, a lifelong West Ham fan, to be standing on that stage in front of a sold-out crowd doesn't get much better than that.
You just know he's going to soak it all in. Might even shed a tear or two, and I'm not just talking about the fans. Okay, enough with the sentimental stuff. Let's get down to brass tacks. We know the tour kicks off in Budapest. We know they're hitting London. But what about the rest of it? So logistics. We know they're starting in Budapest. We know they're hitting London for that huge homecoming show at London Stadium. What about everywhere else? Where else can people catch them on this monster tour?
The full list is out there, trust me. They've got it all on their website, all the dates and locations.
We'll be sure to link that in the show notes, of course, for everyone listening. Don't worry about frantically scribbling down notes right now, though. Honestly, I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah, no need to pull a hamstring before the mosh pit even opens up. But seriously, grab your calendars, folks, because this thing is massive. Months and months of Iron Maiden spanning continents.
It's a proper world domination tour, that's for sure. And if their track record is anything to go by, those tickets are going to be gone faster than you can say Eddie.
Oh, yeah. If you're even thinking about going, don't hesitate.
Not for a second. Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground here. The set list, why this tour is such a big deal, those awesome quotes from Bruce and Rod, even Steve Harris's undying love for West Ham United. But before we let you go, let's bring it back to you, the listener.
Sounds good.
So, if we've done our job right here, your maiden senses are tingling, you're already mentally planning your outfit for this metal pilgrimage, figuring out which shows you can hit.
I'd wager there's a good chance of that, yeah.
Right, so here's the million-dollar question, the one we've been circling all this time. If you could put in a request with the Iron Maiden gods themselves, just one deep cut from those first 9 albums, something you've never heard them play live, something that would make this tour truly unforgettable, what would it be?
Oh, man. You're really putting me on the spot here. Choosing just one song from that era.
Yeah.
It's like picking a favorite breath of air.
Fair enough. But come on, this is Iron Maiden we're talking about. Go big or go home.
You're right. Okay. Okay. If I had to pick just one, and it's killing me to narrow it down, I got to go with Prowler. From their debut album, that raw energy, the speed, hearing that live on this tour after all these years, pure magic.
Oh man, goosebumps. I can practically hear it now. And that's what this whole tour feels like, doesn't it? A chance to relive those early days, to experience that raw power that is Iron Maiden, but also to celebrate how far they've come.
It's a testament to their legacy, to their musicianship, to the incredible bond they have with their fans. 50 years in the making, a career-spanning set list, deep cuts galore. Get ready to run for your lives, because Iron Maiden is coming in hot.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, up the irons.